Everyone, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to Never Out of Books, and I have the stats video. Woohoo! Some people love these, some people hate these. I'm a lover of the stat video and also a goals review. Let's review 2018. As for my goals for 2018, I had done a few different reading challenges. One of them was the 2018 Old and New Classics Challenge. Yeah, I failed this very, very much. I also failed liking big books. I didn't like big books this year. They were not my friends. Out of the 12 books I was supposed to read for this challenge, I read I read 6 of them. So half, but still it was a fail. I was supposed to read 12 books from this challenge, and that did not happen. I did read a translated work in Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. She is German. I think I've read a couple of others too, but that's the one that stands in my mind. I also wanted to get rid of my Goodreads shelves, the ones where I added books in 2012 and 2013. I almost did this. 2013 shelf is gone, and 2012 I believe has one book on it. I could not finish it. It was one of those big Edward Rutherford books, and it just wasn't happening. So I almost completed this. This, I would say, is almost a pass, you know. That was real close. I did not read any of the Bronte Book Club picks like I thought I was going to, so failed that. And I did finish my Monkey See, Monkey Do challenge, so that was good. And I basically did my cleaning out the TBR closet challenge, so that I finished appropriately, I think. Other than the one book that I didn't read, the Edward Rutherford, I'm pretty pleased. I'm kind of sad about the classics and the big books, but I can't complain too much because I did some decent reading this year. So stat-wise, I read 137 books in 2018. I did DNF 2 books, and I read 43,913 pages. This is kind of the norm for me. This is not, I think it's a little less than last year, book-wise, but I mean, how I read 137 books. Like, can I be displeased with that? No. No, I cannot be displeased with that in any way. So I am perfectly content with this number. My average star rating was 3.61. Again, I think that's a little higher than what it was the year before, so you know, I enjoyed my books. It seems like 3 is a good book. 4 is like ooh, I really liked this, and 5 is, I don't give 5 stars very often, let's just put it that way. So, pretty good. I read 6 classics. Classics I define as 50 years or older, so that's good. 49% of the books that I read were diverse, which I'm fine with. 77% of the books I read were by authors from the United States, which I could do better with. That one I'll say, I could definitely do better. And I read 86% female authors, which was pretty shocking to me, but at the same time not, because I do read a lot of genre fiction, you know, a lot of cozy mysteries and a lot of romance. So I guess it shouldn't be as shocking as it was, but that was a lot of female authors. So I might need to work on that just a little bit, like if I'm feeling it, but otherwise we're good. 16 of the books I read were audiobooks, which is a lot more than my normal, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't mind consuming audio. I do want you to know, though, when I calculate my audiobooks, I do not count those pages towards my page totals. So there were 16 books with pages that I don't put the pages in there. This was a little bit interesting. I read 66% adult books this year. A lot of previous years I had been really into young adult as a genre, and definitely only 18% in 2018. Again, I'm fine with this. I think it might pick up a little bit in 2019 because I am trying to cycle through some of my young adult books this year to get them out because they're not fitting on my shelves. But 66% adult books, which is good. 12% was middle grade. And I separate classics out separately because I don't consider classics a genre. I consider it something else. So I just found it better to put it in this as opposed to another place. So 4% were classics. Most of the books that I read are in between 300 to 399 pages. Again, a lot of genre fiction is about that range. My largest book was in the 700 page range. I believe that might be the Edward Rutherford book that I read. Also, East of Eden was pretty chunky. Like I said, I read 6 classics, 24 new release in 2018 books, which is fine. That means that I am indeed reading my backlist pretty well, so I'm pleased with that. This was fun, like my most read genre. For most books, it was contemporary romance. I read 28 contemporary romances, and that's 20%. But for the most pages, it was historical romance at 9,075 pages. So obviously historical romances must just have more pages than contemporary romances. I don't know. And my third most read for both pages and percentage were cozy mysteries. I read approximately 120 pages a day, and it takes me approximately 3 days to finish a book, for what it's worth. And 69% of the books I read were from TBR of the previous year. And that's a little surprising. I thought I read more books that I didn't just pick up this, on the spur of the moment, but apparently not. Then again, 24 new releases, that's a decent amount for me. So that's kind of the stats that I feel like bringing up anyway. I can't put stuff, I don't have enough editing software where I can like put pie graphs and all of that. And I use Brock's spreadsheet, and I will completely admit I stopped tracking the books that I was bringing into my home because there were so many of them that I wasn't sitting down to do it. So all of those stats are skewed and not appropriate. So I can't bring any of that up because I think I stopped tracking my brought in books in like March of last year. Hopefully I will not do that this year. And hopefully the thought of having to put that on the spreadsheet will, keep me from buying so much and bringing so much into the home and keep me reading my shelves a bit more so that I don't have to admit to all of this purchasing. When it comes to my TBR goal, which is always to finish the year with less books on my TBR than I started, was a complete and utter fail. I started with like 326 books and I ended with 400 on my TBR, owned TBR. So I'm slightly embarrassed. And I read a lot of my own books. So I'm like very embarrassed by this. And yeah, I can't, that's why I threw it at the end of my video, hoping everyone would go away. So that was a real fail. So 2018, it was what it was. And hopefully 2019 will be better. So I will talk to you all again later, enjoying everyone's wrap-ups and videos, and I will see you later. Bye.